Thanks and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for tuning into this post-game edition of Lions Talk Live. Yes, I know we're all going to be talking about Dan Campbell's decision to play the starters. Laporta, I'll try to get you a little bit of an update. Hey, here's what I can say as a coach: you've got to go with what feels right to you. And what we can say about Dan Campbell, MCDC, is that, you know what, he's all in. He wants to establish an identity for this team that no matter what the situation is, you play to win the game. There is no such thing as a throwaway game. There's no such thing as, hey, we've got a limited chance to get to the number 2 seed. We're not going to risk it. We're going after it all the time. And let me tell you, that does transcend down to your players. Your players now have expectations. Your players do have a standard in which they're going to follow. If you've been a Lions fan as long as me or longer than me, even, you understand that where this team has been. And you know what? He's saying, in my opinion, Dan Campbell, that, we're never going to throw a game away. We're never just going to take a knee. We're never just going to say, hey, we'll get you next week. Yes, the Laporta situation. So I came on at roughly halftime, somewhere in the third quarter, whenever it was, and I gave you an update from trusted people that I would go with it as far to the report, Laporta potential injury. So for those of you who didn't catch that little report, I'll just give you a real quick refresh. So since the knee buckles to the outside and not inward towards the groin, it's a strong indication that it's more than likely, there's no way to confirm it until later tonight when they do the MRI and everything and then get confirmation of the results tomorrow, that it's just a pull or stretching of ligaments, tendons, etc., because of how the knee is structured. Now, if you watch how the knee bends, the interior of the knee pushes the exterior of the cap out and out away from, again, the groin area. If it would have been the opposite, I know we were talking about it a little bit during that piece. If it would have been the opposite and pushed inwards towards the groin, you probably would have had an MCL, meniscus tear, etc. So anyways, what I can say is we won't know anything. I don't care whoever tells you something. You won't know anything concrete until tomorrow from Lions head offices. What I would tell you from my experience and from talking to them, the people I would trust on it, plus what my own eyes could see, he's probably 50-50 to play next week. And is there a possibility he tore something? Absolutely. I'm just saying, based on my experience, based on the nature of the push of the cap, based on the way the knee buckled, that it's probably strains, it's probably pulled ligaments. But again, nobody's going to be able to tell you one thing or another. And if there's any swelling in the knee, that would slow down the MRI as well. All right, let's go ahead and get to you guys. I see the chat section is moving. Hey, while we're all talking about the Laporta stuff, let's not also forget the other part of this. An injury can happen at any point. If the Lions didn't, play anybody and go out the very first snap of the game next week, somebody can get hurt. It's the NFL. It's how it is. It's unfortunate, but you know what? You got 12 wins. You got the division. You finished on a win. You've worked out a few things. I know I was talking to a couple coaching friends of mine. I would have done the things a little bit differently, but with that being said, the secondary, all the different stuff they were trying to work out for the playoffs, I think they worked some of those kinks out. You could see the miscommunications, especially in the third and early part of the fourth quarter. I would ask you guys this: would you rather do that this week or next week in the playoffs? So you got some repetitions if you're Aaron Glenn, MCDC, towards correcting all that. All right, now let's, without further ado, let's get into the comment section below. Robert G, heck yeah, great win. Hopefully Laporta and Khalif are going to be okay. I would say this for Khalif Raymond. I think based on, just the way his the weight from the defender landed on that ankle, he probably turned it and pulled it a little bit or sprained it, but I don't think it's going to be anything egregious. Nothing like what we're all going to wait with weighted breath and anticipation finding out about Laporta. Jason Laporta, ugh, yes, 100%. But like I was also saying, injuries can happen anytime. If he would have did it the first play of the playoff game or the first drive, you'd be in more or less the same situation. I'm sticking to what I'm thinking, and that's nothing concrete, nothing I can say, that's going to be any kind of confirmation other than what I've given. And that's just, I'm anticipating it's going to be strained ligaments and, maybe some muscular tear or whatever. But 50-50 would be my anticipation for next weekend. Again, we'll probably know for certain one way or another tomorrow. probably around noon. All right, Ed W. Dan Campbell is intense. He looked PO'd the entire game. Yeah, he knows as soon as Laporta got that potential injury or whatever you want to call it, that people are going to come after him. But again, we can all sit here and debate, hey, right move, wrong move, whatever. But what I would say to you, somebody who's trying to change a culture. So I've coached, I don't even know, 12 different, 13, 15 different destinations. And let me tell you, usually when I get hired, it's not a good culture. It's been one that's, it hasn't been winning. So you have to come in and do certain things that people are probably going to kick back on you about in order to change the expectations, change the way the players, the front office, the fans all view things. Right, wrong, or indifferent, this is what I would say, even though I would have done things differently today. I'll say this in MCDC's defense. He's sending a statement to the NFL, to the front office, and to those players. And trust me, they're aware of it. I don't care what the game is. We play to win. Rock, scissors, paper, whatever it is, you're playing to win at all times. And you know what? Good for him, man, because you know what? Lions fans, we've been waiting 60 years for something like this. Now you're getting it. Let's not second guess it. All right, Steve, great win, coach. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, no small feat. You're playing against a team that basically has nothing to lose. They are coming out and they're trying to punch you in the mouth. They're trying to steal some of your thunder, and you pulled off a win. Nathan, Dan, thank you. You're the best. Go to Lions. Hey, no, you're the best. You're the best. What's the Homelander line? You're the real heroes. So thanks for that, though, Nathan. Thank you very much. Big M, great win. Woo! You know what? Oh, man, I'm going to save it for the playoffs, the Ric Flair. If I had an extra 2 minutes, I'd put it on now, but I don't. So, JDC, holy whoa. All right, I'll go with that, man. Robert G, like I said this morning, I trust in MCDC. Yeah, and you know what? We'll find out later who we're going to play. If you guys get it, if something happens where you find out sooner, let me know. But, by tonight, we're all going to know we're going to play. And what we can say is this. Ford Field's going to be rocking. This team is going to be physical. They're going to come pop, some people. And while the secondary did not look great, especially in the third quarter and early part of the fourth, you got meaningful reps to try to clean some of this stuff up, work C.J. Gardner-Johnson back into the mix. And, end of the day, would you rather do that this week or next week? And that's what I would say. I think this will pay dividends come next week. All right, Steve-O, I feel like getting 12 wins was a big deal. It is. Think what's it happen one at a time in Lions history. So it's not something that's going to happen probably that often. And look across the history of the NFL, how often it does happen. Not very much. So give them a lot of praise, give them a lot of, kudos. They've done something I think not many of us would have even anticipated at the start of the year. Jason, CJ Gardner looked good. He did. And you know what? Getting some of those kinks out, getting a pick, all that stuff. Again, think about the postseason. Getting those meaningful reps, clean up some of the communications, or in our case, in the third quarter and fourth quarter, some of the miscommunications, just getting all that out of the way now versus then, huge thing. All right, Nathan, sucks Laporta is out. Hopefully not a serious injury. Yeah, and, if you didn't see this beginning of the show, I offer my thoughts on it. Let me know if you guys need me to repeat it, but I'm anticipating he's 50-50 for next week. Maybe better than that, maybe worse, but we won't know until tomorrow, probably around 11 a.m. to noon, somewhere in that time frame. Doug, hate people who question coaches who are 12-5. Nature of the business, man. If you're a coach, you could be undefeated and go win a championship, and there will be people that say you did it wrong. It's part of life, man. All right, PAFD, 12-5, baby. One pride. Absolutely. You're 100% right. Fire stopper, let me tell you, you got something special here. And you got a coach that says, hell or high water, we're going to do it a particular way here in Detroit. Not everybody's going to be a fan of it. Some people are going to come after me. Some people are going to question me. But you know what? This is Lions football from this day forward. Take it or leave it. We're coming at you. Ed, what do you got? The mental lapse where we gave up so many deep passes scares me. Yeah, and Ed, that's what I was meaning about cleaning up some things, using this as a dry rehearsal, whatever you want to call it, scrimmage, exhibition game, whatever. Again, do you want Aaron Glenn doing that live in a playoff game where everybody's brain's going to have to think on the fly and under duress, remembering nuances that usually, in my opinion, doesn't go well? So do it this week and make it easier for next week. Doesn't mean it will be perfect, but it will be a lot further along next week versus if they were starting everything out from scratch. Jason St. Brown is a Pro Bowler. Hard to believe he ain't there, ain't it? It really makes you wonder. I mean, I get there's some great receivers on that list, but it makes you wonder why he wasn't there, and none of us can answer that one. Frank, Lions got Reynolds his bonus. I was wondering that at the end. I was wondering, why is he just taking knees? There had to be something to it, and my guess is, probably a bonus. But, kudos to the coaching staff. This guy, it's part of the culture. Reynolds has come in and helped establish identity. I think MCDC, that's not going to be lost on free agents. Free agents find out about that and said, you know what? The game was over. They could have just taken some knees. And not like you were trying to rub it up or run it up on the other team. You're just throwing some swing out passes so you could get some catches. And you know what? Maybe you did just that. Maybe you got the guy an extra paycheck, and that will spread like wildfire across the league in the offseason. So kudos to the coaching staff for doing right by him. Kudos for them also sending a message. Detroit's a place you want to play. Steve-O should have been 13-4. Yep, I would agree. But you know what? It didn't go that way, so now we got to fall forward. Mr. Nico, I was ready to trash Cam, but then he redeemed himself. Some of it, like I said, some of it I think they were trying, especially when they went to zone coverage, they were trying out a few things. And I'll have to watch the coaching tape later on and try to do a deeper dive, and maybe tomorrow morning get it over to you guys. But watching it live, what I could say is they altered the trend of the last month or so of mostly playing man-to-man and doing that with the safeties. When they went in the second half, they started playing a lot of two high safety, every once in a while single high safety. But I think that's where the miscommunications were happening. Guys weren't always dropping as far as I'm thinking they should have, and they were miscommunicating who's going where in the zones. So, again, do that this week or do that next week. And that's what I would say. We should be thankful they're doing that this week. Dave, what do you got? Any update on the Laporta injury? So just what I reported at the start of the show, my view and talking to persons, because the knee buckles outwards, you got an interior knee movement that pushes the exterior of the knee out and away from the groin. The good part is you got a lot more flexibility when it comes to muscle, ligaments, etc. So there's less likeliness of a tear because the strength of the knee and the structure. Now, with that being said, if it would have went the opposite way towards the groin, you probably were looking at a tear, at least a meniscus tear or something like that. But since we didn't get that, and the fact that, just watching how the knee moves, I'm guessing he severely strained some ligaments, makes him 50-50 probably at best for next week. But we'll know more come tomorrow when the results come in. I mean, they may get the results tonight. More than likely they do, but nothing's going to be announced until tomorrow. All right, Jason Porter was a play anyway, either way. Brock Wright wasn't active. Yep, yeah. And that's the other part of it is at some point you can rest guys, but there's only so many guys you can rest. Could Laporta have been one of the guys maybe you said, hey, not so much, but then he put more workload on the running backs, Goff, the receivers. So we can all sit here and debate certain things, but at the end of the day, you do have to put guys on the field. You only have so many to work with. Somebody's got to be out there. It's not like you got 100 guys and you can just say, hey, we're gonna sit the top 50 or whatever. So we'll see what shakes out with things. All right, Great Lakes. Laporta does not look good at all. I would say, like 50-50 at best. Nathan, go Reynolds. He will be the guy to go to going forward with Laporta out. Yeah, potentially Laporta out. We'll see. Again, no way to really know. Dave, sorry, I just got here. Hey, no worries, man. Ric Flair garb. Oh man. Hold on, man. It's the best I can do, guys. Hey, I'm always trying to entertain fans, right? So get in mind, I'm doing this on the cuff, so don't really have it all set. So it probably doesn't look great, but yeah, man, I don't have the robe, but you know what? Hey, what the heck? For you guys, there you go, Ric Flair coming out of retirement. I'm not going to do the whole voice thing. My voice is pretty much shot from coaching the last 2 days, but whoa, there you go. So, yeah, coaching, I can't really hit it right now. And, yeah, I didn't get this thing ready. So, hey, don't hate me too much. Steve-O, Good. You can count on Nick Mullins to throw a couple picks. Hey, that's what we're talking about. He's styling and profiling. Let me tell you about it, guys. Doug, what do you got? I've got many knee injuries and surgeries, and they grabbed the knee right away. I hope you are right. Me too, man. Yeah, I can't do that voice right now, man. All right. Jason Laporta would have played either way. Brock Wright was inactive. Yeah, 100%. First, Albert, as Dr. David Chaos commented on Laporta's injury, not that I'm aware of. Mr. Nico, given all the drugs Laporta needs because we need him. Yeah, give him all that you can. Give him the needle for sure. PT, what do you got? Dan Campbell has turned the culture around. I ride with him no matter what, 100%. Nathan, love the playoff run to come. Praying for Laporta. I absolutely 100% agree. Dan Campbell, Zuck needs a new coach. Oh boy, here we go. Stable, Lions could have sat all the players they have in the rotation. Yep, Brock Wright back soon, probably tomorrow would be my guess. Day, yeah, where's the Ric Flair outfit, Dan? Gotta do it for the crew. All right, yeah, and I'll yeah, for the playoffs, definitely. I will host the entire show and try to make sure my voice is right for it so I can do the Ric Flair styling and profiling and all that stuff. Let me tell you about it. Mean Gene Okerlund. Great legs. Khalif Raymond, too. Yeah, my guess is it's just an ankle sprain for him, and he'll probably be okay. Frank, let's go Washington. Let's go Giants. 100%. 1,000%. Nathan, Lions Syndicate is off his rocker. Do not like that channel at all. He is always a Debbie Downer, unfortunately. Also a golf hater. It happens, man. Not everybody likes everybody. So moving on. All right, Ed. Aleem looked good. He did. He looked fresh. And you know what? We talking about that. Talking about Hutchinson, Aleem, Garner Johnson, Houston next week. Let's be fair. I think, and we've talked about on the show for a while. I think as soon as they start pulling back Hutchinson's workload from playing 90-95% of the snaps down to high 60s, mid 70s. You guys tell me, has he looked significantly better? And Lee McNeil, now that he's had basically a month off, did he look better today? So that's my thoughts, but you guys let me know yours. Robert, how about Aiden Hutchinson? Great game for him. 2 more sacks. Whoa! Let me tell you, yeah, I'm gonna have to do some honey or whatever on my voice before next weekend's playoff victory post-game show. All right. I got to get the stuff out of my face. And thank you, MCDC, for playing the starters. You play to win. Absolutely. You play to win the game, and that's what he's trying to establish. He's trying to establish for everybody. We are always coming after you. There's no free passes when you play the Detroit Lions, and bravo to him. Jason, Skipper as our tight end, strong possibility. Strong possibility. All right. But I will say this real quick before I get to Brother Ken. We were wondering and talking about James Mitchell last week because they were using him more and more. I think we know why now. They're going to use him as a fullback / tight end. And I thought he did a pretty good job with it. He was definitely, styling and profiling, Gators on the floor, whatever you want to say, Ric Flairisms. Mitchell, bravo to him, man. He got the Detroit Lions and put him on the field. And you know what? That may just pay off big come next week. Brother Ken, 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, good. However, they let the Vikings get 400 yards through the air. Let's do better, D. Yeah, and I think some of that, as I get this hair out of my mouth from the Ric Flair wig, hey, that's why you're using this game to get things ready for the postseason. And just like I'm trying to get Ric Flair ready for the postseason, Aaron Glenn's working on this secondary. Doug, AJ, and the DB struggled to figure out a, quote, new plan. I wasn't impressed. If it wasn't for the pass rush, we would have really had issues. Yes, and, hey, again, work on it this week versus next week. I was okay with them playing for the possible second seed, but I want to have put St. Branch and St. Brown back out no matter how minor the injuries might have seemed. Yeah, I get it, man. Jason, let's go Washington, New York, 1,000%. Dennis, go Lions. I agree. Great Lakes. What do we do to stop 200-yard plus receivers? My 3-legged dog could go for 100 yards. Maybe they're holding back. Maybe whatever the plan is, maybe they're holding back for next week. Big M, all we can do is hope for the best. Absolutely. Nathan, finally made it to a live show. Well, I'm glad you're here, buddy. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Robert, you're right, Dan. Injuries can happen anytime. Yeah, first play of the game, last play of the game. Heck, man, you could be in practice and it can happen. So, It's the unfortunate part of sports. There's no way to predict them. All right, Jason, congrats, Montgomery. Yes, 100%. Steve-O, Hutch ended up having a heck of a season. He just needs some help out there, and he's going to be a 15, 17 sack guy. I would agree. If you can get somebody else who forces the quarterback out on flushes, where Hutch is now cleaning up some of those, you probably are going to see his numbers jump quite a bit. Brent, to my birthday victory, and so I'm happy and getting geared up for the playoffs. Just a week to go into the playoffs, and happy birthday again, Brent. Southwest, hey, I'm happy they won. Very happy about CD Deuce INT, but wasn't Campbell doing not taking a knee the final two plays? What was he doing? Somebody had kind of mentioned maybe trying to get Josh Reynolds some sort of incentive-laid bonus. Perhaps that's it. I'd be speculating at that is it, but it would kind of make sense versus just taking the knee. All right, Nathan. Hopefully St. Brown is okay as well. He looks like ribs. Hopefully not. Yeah, remember he damaged them earlier in the year. I'm guessing it flared back up, but I have no doubt about it with St. Brown. He'll be fine come the postseason. Hey Dan, Hatman. Hey Dan. What a season we are having. Yeah, best in over 30 years, if you ask me. And you know what? I know they mentioned it on the show with the broadcasters. You think about just all the draft picks the Lions have hit on. And I know they illustrated it, but it really just says something about the front office and the scouting staff for the Detroit Lions. You're going to see a lot of teams try to pick that scouting staff apart. And being someone who is a scout, I can tell you this. You get a track record for hitting on picks and recommendations on players, you're going to get a pretty good offer for someone. And I think that's the unfortunate part of the Detroit Lions season is you're going to see a lot of this the scouting department gutted as other teams will salivate over them and just make offers probably most of them can't refuse. All right, Boo. This is history, culture shift, 100%. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that, Boo. Smoking. I don't think there's much that could help Laporta or Raymond out of this home playoff game. And anybody who thinks MCDC made the wrong call by playing starters is ridiculous. Yeah, you can get hurt at any time, man. Laporta can miss next week's game. He'll get a chance to play in the divisional round. There could be some truth to that. Southwest, I tell you what, Mitchell looked pretty good. Important catch that he made in the fourth quarter. Yeah, and remember this guy coming out, if he wasn't, whatever it was, ACL injury, he probably would have been drafted probably more like the third round, somewhere right around there, third or fourth round. He is physical and he is athletic. So, I'm not saying he is going to be the replacement for Laporta if Laporta can't go, but, you're going to have some options. All right, Steve-O, Southwest Lions 16, they're getting Josh Reynolds his bonus. Yeah, could be. Robert, Josh Reynolds was trying to get his bonuses. Agreed. Doug, Laporta could have gotten hurt in the first 5 minutes of next week or Wednesday in practice. They were working out defense issues. Yes, agreed. And again, injuries happen anytime. All right, Great Lakes. I think we were practicing that outside pass play at the end. Seriously, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to read through the glasses and the hair here. Sorry, guys. Robert Monty on his 1,000 yards. Yeah, agreed. John, I told you, dominate defense is playing way better. It is. And you think about where we were prior to the last month. I mean, Minnesota struggled at times. And you know what? The pass rush is getting better. The secondary, I get they had some lapses today. But again, I think that's a result of trying to work on situations for next week. All right, Michael, what happened to the run game in the last couple of weeks? Teams are trying to take it away. And you're facing a couple of teams that are capable of taking it away. Could there be some things they're going to have to adjust this week? Absolutely. Frank, dirty knee to the chest against St. Brown. Yeah, and I think that's what started the kind of, wincing, tightness, etc. Jason, how many dews and vodkas are you celebrating with? Today, none. Next week, hey, there could be some commentary about that. We'll go there with that. All right, Cody, I thought defense was embarrassing. They had some good moments. They had some bad moments. But again, I think that's a reflection of trying to work things out to get ready for the postseason. Jason, this team has a lot of issues in the secondary. It does. But again, beating a dead horse here, I think, that's, part of it is, we don't have a true number one corner. I don't think anybody's going to, deny that. Sutton is good, but is he a number one? Probably not. The other part is they did clearly shift some things around in the second half to try to work on stuff for the postseason. And again, you'd rather get that stuff addressed somewhat today than next week. All right, Great Lakes. Who would you rather play, Packers or Rams? Oof. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think you're kind of splitting hairs a little bit. You're going to have more familiarity with the Packers from that standpoint. I probably go with them. They've been a little erratic as of late, where the Rams have played pretty well. They also have some elite players at different positions. They also have some real deficiencies at other positions. How much can you attack their weaknesses and try to take away some of that elite? We'll see. All right, Southwest, where are the Vikings trying to get even because what happened to Hockenson? I didn't think it was a dirty hit or tackle. It's just that foot dug in. It caught on the turf. And when he pulled, I think it pulled pretty well. Brother Ken, go Rams, go Giants. Absolutely. Craig, hey, Dan. Jared Goff played. They all should. You lose Jared Goff, then what do you do? Over a seed? Come on. Hey, I agree, but it's also, MCDC, he's rode you to this point. He's changed everything around. He says this is what's going to happen. You got to respect the guy for that. I can, like I said, the start of the show, I would have done things differently, but you know what? Here you go. He got us here. Time to move forward from it. All right. Big M, go blue. Yeah, that's tomorrow night. And I'm sure most of this channel will probably be watching that. Doug, Sutton, and Joseph seem to be the outsides. Always picked up on the play too soft. Yeah, and I hope they tighten it up a little bit. Blind Tom, hope we can get Jane Houston playing. Yeah, I think he'll be back next week. And you know what? That's just another weapon to throw at people. Robert G. Jefferson is a beast without question for any defense to defend, not just Detroit. Agreed. Smoking, if the Rams win, we play the Rams. If the Rams lose and the Packers win, we play the Packers. But if they both lose, we play the Rams. You are 100% right. Great Lakes, McNeil was back today, baby. Yeah, he was, and he looked different. He looked good. Doug, CD was good some of the times, needs to shake off some rust. Yeah, and thank goodness you had this game to get some of the rust off. Big M Pascal had a strong game. I would say you're right. I think he had probably his best game of the season. Jason, I think the Porter will be fine. It didn't look too serious. Yeah, hopefully not, man. Hopefully it's just some pulls or strains. And the good part is, again, he's a younger player. So if that's all it is, they can do some things to help this week to help get him ready. My guess is he's 50-50 for next week, but we'll see. Harold, I am going with Dan Campbell. He is a great coach. Love that man. A dang good coach. Lions have now. Go Lions. Agreed. Southwest playing JJ and Lamb. Great tune-up for the postseason. You're not wrong. You look at the last 3 games we played. Justin Jefferson, 2 of those games. Lamb, 1 of them. I mean, you're getting some real good repetitions against some of the best receivers in the league. All right, Sean left this on the other video, medical professional here. So the way the injury happened, it looks like knee hyperextended. Yeah, agreed. Could just be a hyperextension of which past pain and swelling could heal quickly. Yeah, agreed. And that's why I was mentioning about the swelling, that, yeah, if that's down, then they'll be able to do the MRI and get the results probably tonight. If not, then we'll have them tomorrow morning. So agreed. And thank you for your commentary on that. Post-crucial ligament strain or rupture. Now that's ligament and is stronger and more stout than the ACL, so less likely to damage. So possibly just a harsh hyperextension. Yeah, we're on the same page with it, man. Yeah. Agreed with all that. Also, if they tested that, yeah, my guess is that's what they probably did in the tent and then back in the locker room. So yeah, we're on the same page, but we're not probably going to get any kind of official word on it until tomorrow. Sean, thank you, though. And if you got any other thoughts, throw them in there by all means. Smoke N, personally thought Gardner looked terrible besides the pick at the end, but that was just right place, the right time. He missed a lot of assignments. Yeah, but he's also been out for, 3 months or something like that. So you would expect some rust. All right, Southwest, Steve-O, good pickup. Thanks for posting that out. Yeah, and thank you very much for that. All right, Sean, ligament on field, low liability, walked without assistance off. I think that was safe to do. Still a chance of it, just a hyperextension. So just an educated guess from watching the game film. Yeah. Like I went. Yeah, no, you're confirming basically what I was told and what I could see at the start of it. So it sounds like we're on the same page. Again, one never knows until it's confirmed, but I'm guessing, yeah, he's probably 50-50 for next week and just got some good ligament pulls. All right, Robert G., they never rested players back in the day. They never did. You are correct. This is something that's really only been around the last, 10, 15 years, something like that. All right, Nathan, once again, you are the best, Dan. Thank you for that. Love your show and all your extremely knowledgeable info. You take the cake over all YouTubers. Thank you for doing your due diligence. Due diligence in the show. No worries, and more than glad to do so. Sean helps, yes, and thank you for all your stuff with that, Sean. Thank you deeply for that. Harrisville, Dan Skipper, number 2 tight end, baby. He's getting a tud next week. He might, man. And you know what? That blocking at the line probably a little bit stronger with him out there. Hatman, how many records did we break this year? More than one, I know that. So if anybody's got an official count, throw it in the comments section. Go from there. Great Lakes, they need to return fields to grass period. And I talked about that earlier in the season. They do a lot overseas as far as moving the field, the actual grass field, from the stadium outside the stadium to grow it. You've got one stadium stateside that I know does it, and I want to say that's, oh boy, I'm testing my memory here. I want to say that's Phoenix or the Cardinals. The entire field can be rolled out underneath the stadium. That way they can nurture it, grow it, repair it, and then roll it back in for games. I'd love to see more and more teams do it. It's just, probably like most things, it comes down to cost, unfortunately. That secondary is not good and will be trouble. It's got some holes for sure. Let's hope it can get better. All right, Southwest, I'm sure these guys look at film at least. Hope they do. I don't know how you leave Jefferson in single coverage on deep balls. 1,000% agree, and I don't get a lot of it. But, hey, I'm not here to get it. I'm just here to report it this time. Cody, hopefully you were able to get really rested this week. Packers and Rams still got to get through these games without injuries. True point. Nathan, love this channel. Love you too, man. We need to keep the secondary doubling down on the best players of the opposing team. Yeah, I would agree, and I'm surprised we haven't done that in the last month. But, again, maybe they're holding something back. Doug, how about Reynolds on punt returns? Yeah, Khalif Reynolds, he killed it today. Him and, Josh Reynolds also did well today too. All right, not Josh Reynolds, Craig Reynolds. All right, Dr. Detroit, the culture I don't like is the Dan Gamble culture. Too many injuries, not necessary. Gotcha. Steve-O, yep, I got you, man. Harrisville, I called a deep ball to JJ on 4th and 1. No help over the top. Yeah, there was no safety help, and I was kind of surprised by that. Southwest AG has really made strides over the last 3 to 4 weeks. It's not perfect, but he's getting better. It is, and the players are adjusting. Southwest, woulda, shoulda, woulda, Dallas in the past now. People know what happened. It doesn't even need to be said. Yeah, I think we're all definitely aware. All right, guys, been about a half hour or so, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off and get some stuff done here. But if there is some breaking news later today, I'll try to get to you as quick as possible. Otherwise, I'll see you all tomorrow morning on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.